Hello and welcome back to the Rough Mix Podcast. I'm your host Esteban, and to my left we got.
I'm Victor.
Jordan.
And Eli.
All right, cool. And today's episode we're gonna be talking about what makes a producer. We recently just discussed this on the last podcast. If you heard that one,
Definitely go check it out.
check it out on the Rough Mix Podcast. You can
Episode
follow us
one,
on Twitter,
producer
SoundCloud.
versus-
YouTube.
Actually, we don't have a SoundCloud yet. We got.
We're not going to put it on SoundCloud?
By the time this shit comes out, we're gonna have everything.
We should have it on
We'll
SoundCloud.
have it on
All
everything.
platforms.
It'll be on all
Yeah.
platforms.
All
for
People
sure.
don't even worry about
Yeah,
it.
no.
You'll be
Rough
fine.
Mix
Now
Podcast.
that you think about it, I was thinking about it. I was like,
Episode
how are we
one.
gonna be like on all platforms except SoundCloud? And it's like, well, I grew up on SoundCloud. Like, that's my home base.
We'll have it on SoundCloud.
Shout out to all the SoundCloud,
Shout out SoundCloud.
SoundClouders, viewers and artists. Everybody. But today's topic specifically is what makes a producer. That's the general topic of the whole video. But we're gonna go ahead and talk about what's the difference between a beat maker and a producer. Like real quick, like 5 minutes, because I know we talked about this on the last one, but I feel like we should address this because we're like the 4 producers in the group. 3. Jordan hasn't made a song.
Nah, I'm just a beat maker.
He's just a beat
Not
maker.
yet, not
But I
yet.
guarantee you, last week you'd hear like, "Yeah, I'm a producer. Yeah, I'm all hard." And then he heard us all talking. He heard us talking trash about like beat makers thinking they're producers. He's like, "Yeah, I'm a beat maker now."
But he's soon to be a producer.
Yeah, soon to be. Yeah,
I'm putting my
sure.
dreams out there. you
He'll be
know,
like
I'm putting
he'll
what
be
I'm
like
aspiring to
co-producing.
be.
Me and Miles EP. Shout out MGZ.
Shout out MG.
MG's
Tell
not here
him
with us right now.
if y'all see MGZ, tweet him and add him and tell him that we haven't started it, so we need to get it. I only have one song done,
Damn.
but just
For which one?
our
Yours?
EP. Yeah,
EP.
we only have one song done. We need
All
like 6.
platforms.
EP on all platforms. But all right, let's get it started. All right, so I think a beat maker, someone that just on whatever DAW you make, whatever DAW of your choice, go ahead, make your beat. That's it. That you're a beat maker. That's it. If you're not in the production side, if you're not like, it doesn't have to be mixing. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about like if you're not there to create a song, if you're not there in the creation of the song, you're not a producer.
I think a beat maker is. See, that's why I don't know, because if you're thinking in a producer mindset, like he's thinking like as to go with, like we were saying, with someone on the track, or like eventually like go for placements or whatever it might be. You want someone rapping on your tracks. As a beat maker, I think it's more of like almost a hobby. Like a lot of us started out as beat makers. We knew in the end we want people on our tracks, but we didn't really know we hadn't found our sound, what we really like, whatever it may be. And I think when you're starting out, I think everyone is a beat maker starting out, regardless. Like we were saying, even just naming like people like Cardo, Kenny Beats, those were beat makers. I think Kenny Beats was more on like the EDM side, but when he first started, but.
Well, I started differently, actually. I started off rapping first, and the only reason why I started making beats was because I was tired of stealing beats from YouTube and from people, and that's why I started making beats. And then I realized that making beats is way better than like rapping and all that, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So then that's
You had
when
a lot
I
more fun on that?
yeah, and then that's when I got more like serious.
Yeah, it's just what you find. And also the whole thing of what you could even say in today's beat maker versus producer, if you're just dropping stuff online to purely make money because maybe you found out like not the formulas, but almost the formulas of like, oh, like what's a Atlanta sound, like what's this, what core things can I make and then add on top of that'll everyone will get hooked on. And you sell those on YouTube, but you never go into a studio, you never care about it, and music wasn't even really a thing. It was just the fact that it became a hype and everyone knew about FL and wanted to make hard beats for a while. Yeah, I don't think if you ever aspire to be in a studio or actually have any musical creation, I think you're a beat maker. But I think if you are
Even if you send it out for placements.
right. If you're I think a producer is someone who's like inclined to be around music or inclined with music and wants to be around it, understands it, and isn't just doing it because like, oh, I can make beats. Like I know a bunch of people who make beats as hobbies and like, yeah, you're a beat maker, that's cool. Like, yeah. But I think when you have a producer mind, I think a lot of it, like a lot of things in life, is just like how you're thinking about it, how you go about it.
Because we all see it as like when we're making beats, we know when like one of us will make a beat where you could rap on it, or like sometimes it just won't work, but the beat's still sick, but we know because we just know it won't work. And I think that also is what makes us, I would say, producers. The fact that we know little things like that because we make the beats and then we all know how to like mic up everything, how to record, how to
Producers
get the
almost have
levels,
like a consumer
everything.
side to
Yeah,
them.
like
Like when
everything.
you're sitting there listening to, so it happens with me a lot. I'll be sitting there listening and tracking people out, and I'll be like, well, what would I want to hear behind that vocal, or what would I not want to hear in his main? You know what I mean? And that's where you give your input as a producer or engineer.
Mhm.
And that's
So-
like sort of like the gift and a curse of producing in general is like you'll hear songs and you won't be listening from like the consumer standpoint
yeah.
anymore. So like to be able to do that, to be able to like put yourself back into that position before you knew anything and like know what sounds good together like still is amazing. That's like a true skill.
So like to just so people can easily distinguish the difference, a producer, some examples would be like Dr. Dre, DJ Khaled, Quincy Jones, Jimmy Iovine, Kanye, and then beat makers are specific people who just make the beats, like a lot of the people from Internet Money, like those guys, they don't.
There's,
I mean, some of
I
them.
think
There's a
at
few.
this point they've gotten, when they first started out, I would say some of them probably were beat makers. Like, I mean, Nick Muir was still like in high school, like when he was getting his
think
first
he's still in
placements.
high
He's,
school.
I think he
I
still
think he
is in
just
high school.
gradu- yeah, he
Or,
just
I
just
saw
graduated.
some shit on Twitter where he was like just going to prom or something.
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
few
I
weeks
mean,
ago.
yeah, like,
Like,
but
making-
at the beginning he would, but I think very quickly they all became producers because they all had that industry side with Taz Taylor.
and Taz Taylor is like a producer. Like
He is he's a beat maker. Like he is, I think, one of the first people to bring like a crazy group like this together of straight engineer producers.
like all
Well, 808
moving
Mafia
into-
though.
Yeah. But this was like that was because they all were coming up together and shit. Like, and I think they all had similar sounds. Like a lot of these guys do not have similar sounds.
That's true. He started his own label.
He started
for,
like it
people
came out
making
of
beats and stuff.
nowhere. Like their wave came over in like a year.
It's true because I used to watch their
Quick year.
videos, just tutorial videos, and then
Right.
out of nowhere they're on Deconstructed,
Right.
and
Yeah,
then now
no,
they're just.
I think the first one was like Adam 22. Taz Taylor was on there as like an interview and was like, "Oh shit, like Internet Money's being taken seriously."
Yeah.
now.
No Jumper.
yeah, no.
Shout
Jumper.
out No Jumper.
Shout out Internet Money.
Shout out
Yeah,
Internet
for
Money.
All those
Hell yeah.
tutorials.
Hell yeah, that shit's
But
inspiring.
I wouldn't be here probably without them.
Yeah.
So who would you say is a beat maker in the game, like right now, famous?
I don't know because I think it. Well,
Well,
Right
there's-
now they're all
Wheezy.
producers though, right?
Oh, like produce,
But,
like
like,
beat makers or producers.
One
if
that's
you're in the
specifically a
industry,
beat
you're
maker.
in the studio usually.
yeah, so
For the most time, right? For the most
You could
part.
send stuff out, but I think everyone who has sent stuff out and who has just the ability to get it to like managers or placement teams, I think have already been in musical situations where they're like in the industry working with other artists, so they're already an artist who makes beats. Like you could, I mean, like, man, I'm trying to think who produces and like raps or like who produces or who strictly
Cole?
makes beats. Yeah, no,
Swizz Beats.
no,
J.
yeah,
Cole?
Yeah. I'm trying to think who. Well, Pierre Bourne. Shout out
Pierre
Pierre
Bourne,
Bourne's
yeah.
a dope
Yeah.
rapper.
Also Tyler the Creator,
Yep.
Earl.
yeah.
Earl is bro, man.
Kirk Knight.
Kirk Knight.
Oh, Kirk
Shout
Knight.
out Kirk
A
Knight.
lot of people
Eric the
don't know that,
Architect.
like-
Eric, that whole New York scene is crazy. Like it's been crazy for a while. Eric took them like to another level with
Well,
producing.
going back to Tyler, that's another example of a real producer because I've seen his studio sessions. Of course, I haven't been in them, but I've seen him, and he'll pull in like certain vocalists and tell them to do this, and like pull in certain instruments and certain people. Like he definitely just produces. So, like,
No, it's yeah.
like on the higher side is my shit.
I feel like just to answer the question, or what I think is answering the question, is like I feel a beat maker makes the beat. That's you're just doing the beat production. That's it. You're doing the beat production, which I guess you could. But now that's why I say nowadays people call themselves producer because they're part of a beat production. So that's why they title themselves producer because there is no name for it other than the beat maker.
I think
But-
that's why too. There's no other name, and like someone one day was just like, "I'm a producer," and then everyone just kind of ran with it.
Yeah.
I mean, even people who like are famous and call themselves producers, they've always called themselves producers before they actually became
Yeah.
a producer.
Because there's no name. There's no name like other than beat maker, but no one wants to use the word beat maker.
Yeah.
Producer sounds more professional. If you're like, I'm a producer, but if you're like, I'm a beat maker, then it's like, oh, yeah, trash.
Oh.
yeah.
You're lesser.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's hard. Like, if you don't want to be in any sessions and you strictly are just, if you just make beats and send them out, but they're hard, then what? Like, yeah, it's fine.
mean,
Then you
you
could be
do
like-
you at the
Yeah,
end
yeah,
of the
yeah,
day.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's all
If
up to
you don't
like,
have
who
any
cares what-
desire to be in there, like I said, some people are just on there because they found out the formulas, or it's just like a hobby and they know they can make money off it because it's like selling and they found their sound. Do your thing. Like if
And
you,
some people are
yeah.
just hella awkward.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
hella
yeah,
weird.
yeah.
Like, you know, like they want to stay behind a screen and just make what they want to make and then send it
Yeah.
out.
But they make the hardest beats.
They do,
Yeah.
from what I've heard.
Like my best friend, like who taught me everything I know. He makes way better beats than me.
Shout them out.
Shout out Sakumbo. Shout out Sakumbo,
yeah,
my boy.
yeah,
I grew up
yeah.
with this since like second grade.
Yeah, he makes
Raw.
he makes some dope.
On SoundCloud, Sekumo, Sekumo. I have to shout him out. He literally, he's the only reason why I'm here. It's like literally the only reason.
Well, I think we all have somebody like that. We'll
Yeah.
talk about that though later
Yeah,
on.
yeah,
we'll
that'll
talk
be
about
a
it
good
later.
Those are long stories.
That's our last one, pretty much.
Yeah, those are
well,
long
sort
stories.
of. It's kind of our last topic, but all right. So I think, just to finish this topic off, you are a producer once you help with the production of a song. That's what I feel like. That's what makes you a producer.
On the rap side,
You could say like,
hip hop.
Yeah, you're a producer once
Yeah.
you're part of helping actually produce the song, as in produce, like make something come
And
out.
I think having a target artist is, it's weird to say, like you usually hear target audience, but having an actual target artist is something as a producer you have to think about. Like if you're making a beat and you know this is gonna go, like as soon as I made that one R&B beat, I knew I wanted to get it to CJ. We haven't made anything to yet, but like I knew as soon as I heard it, I was like, yeah. But that's the thing. It's like it's different when you're making beats and you do strictly type beats, which has become the big thing, which is fine, and that's how a lot of times you actually can find cool sounds.
Yeah.
Because everyone puts their twist on something. Like if you look up a Playboy Cardi type beat or Earl Sweatshirt type beat, there'll be like elements like super lo-fi or like the 808s and stuff, whatever it might be. But it's gonna have a twist of whatever that person normally
And
puts
like
on their
a lot
beats.
of these producers that are doing all these type beats are just like are claiming, which I don't think they're wrong at all. I mean, it makes perfect sense, but
Get
like
closer.
it makes perfect sense, but like they make what they want to make and then they like picture what artist would sound good on it, and that's how you got
Yeah.
type beats.
That's
for
exactly
sure,
what
for sure.
that's exactly, yeah. So like that is, I guess that's kind of being a like a producer in a way. I mean,
That's what I'm saying.
if
Like
you're
it's
aiming for that, it's like like how I would say it's like a chef. Like if you're a chef, you know what sounds good, not sounds good. Fuck, you know what tastes good with what. So like you're putting it all together, and you know. But if you're not a chef and you're just a line cook, you're just cooking up what. That's a horrible. That's a.
I know. It's like
But, like,
difference between
it's
like
hard to-
assembly line and you're doing your own thing.
Yeah, it's what I was talking about before. I think the mindset. It's like if you're going in and you make a beat and you know that okay, like why can't the Comethazine would sound good on this or something. You're gonna put a Comethazine Playboy Cardi like Made in Tokyo type beat. It's different from just putting out a beat and like calling it like something.
Yeah.
That's a beat maker. You made a beat. It's like cool. You don't really know where it would go, and you put it out, or like it's your hobby, like I was saying. If you're thinking about it in a production type way and you want to get it somewhere to a specific audience, like a certain genre, you're thinking as a producer.
But I'm just gonna say, like, at the end of the day, though, like your name, producer, beat maker, like that really doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Some people
yeah.
will get like, you know,
There's the technical people.
yeah.
but-
There's people who make a big fuss about it, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, like, who gives a shit?
I feel like at the end of the day, it's still like
So
there'll
I say
always
let
be
the
an argument.
achievement speak for you.
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
You know,
If you're making your music sound good and it's sounding how you want it to sound and everything's working out, like, who gives a shit if you're called beat maker or
And put it
producer?
out.
You're still doing what you want to do.
Put it
so-
out. A lot of us hold our stuff back. I got hella
Yeah.
stuff in the vault.
Yeah, it's true.
Put your stuff out once you're happy with it, because you're just gonna get better.
Or don't. Just talk about how good it is and put it out.
That's what
just
what I
hype
do.
it up.
That's what I.
That's what I
like
do.
Uzi, just hype it up.
Yeah, just hype it up. I'll just put teasers on it and never release it. That's it.
So, like, since we're talking about producing a song, like, what is the best way for you guys, like, to produce a song or create a song?
Like,
A
what's
song
our
or-
approach?
What
A
do you mean?
song or like yeah.
Are you reading number 3, approaching beats?
I can't
reading
tell if
over
you're on 2 or
I'm on
3.
2. It's
Well, 2 that was like that's
well,
sort
2
of
is no
That's kinda
2 is
tied in.
that's tied into 1.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
just
we
kind
tied
of
it
how we
like
into
go
one.
around.
what a producer's
Yeah,
input.
just for people out there listening, we all have laptops. If you can't see us on YouTube, but we all have laptops out, and we have like our topics that we're discussing. So
When you're talking about When you're talking about approaching beats, what are you talking about exactly?
Oh, like when you go into like literally as soon as you open
When you
FL
open
and you
up
want to
your
make a
DAW.
beat, what or oh my bad, yeah.
I'm
Any DAW,
just saying,
yeah,
I'm just saying, yeah. When you open up
because
your
we're all FL.
Okay,
That's why I
okay.
said
yeah,
it.
we're all FL.
Yeah. But I'm saying like
what do
okay,
you start with?
as you when you approach a beat, when you say I don't know, like say you're in a room and you're like, oh, I'm gonna go on FL, but like, what do you
Let-
tell yourself?
Let me just throw it off. I'm just gonna say how I start. I first pick my BPM because I don't know why. I don't know. Some people don't do that, but that's the first thing I do is I pick my BPM because that's gonna be the mood and what type of beat. If I'm staying like in the 90s and the hundreds, it's gonna be or like low hundreds, 1 to 110. It's gonna either be like some like synth pop, like some weird stuff, like maybe like house with like a little like, you know, whatever, or probably some Bay Area like Detroit type stuff, which I'm still trying to get my hands on. I don't know. I haven't really found like what I want to change some stuff around. Like I don't want to just make the generic stuff, but I first get the BPM and then just start making melodies. That's the first thing. Maybe lay down like a hi-hat and a clap just to get some rhythm going, but I just go with melodies and just go around until I find something that sounds cool, and then I just build off. I usually just build off of a key. I just play like a chord progression, and then I build off of that.
Do you like when you're picking your tempo? Do you have the metronome playing? Like you can hear the
Ooh.
metronome,
No, I just
or you just
like
you just pick
this
it?
just like
Yeah,
going
you-
like and let
yeah.
it play on the pattern.
Yeah, do you have it playing?
You have it playing?
Sometimes, but most of the time I just like know what beat. I just have like locked in BPMs. Like
People
if
might want to know. Oh, I want to produce just like Eli. So like you gotta let them
no,
know.
I don't really. I know at this point what I want. Like if I'm gonna do the stock stuff, like for like a fast Cardi beat, it's like 150 to 165, and then
So like, what would you say? Just
yeah.
What would you say is like the old school hip hop tempo for people so they can?
Old school, you could go from like 77 to 90, I think.
And then what would you say?
95 if you wanted to bump it a little bit, but
You talking about
95
just boom bap?
just anybody
Like,
out
yeah,
there?
'cause,
back
like-
90, I think, and like 88 and like somewhere in there,
Are
like
good.
is like
95's West Coast.
yeah. That's
West
what I was
Coast
saying.
seems
If you
fun.
want to bump
Yeah.
it up a little bit, 93, 95 is what you 97, like 93 to 97. If you go in between there is the real old school like G funk like stuff. But I mean, I've seen stuff like Earl stuff. I think there was, or like not Earl stuff. Who was it? Someone was at like 70. The
Yeah.
slowest I've ever made is 75.
Because I know a lot of lo-fi beats are in 70s.
Yeah, because you just get that.
I've gotten loops that are like 63 before.
Because
Yeah.
like
I'll
the,
just double those and just make
Yeah.
it
Yeah,
126.
it's because
Like
they make
120.
it.
Yeah.
the Bay Area tempo.
Like
I'm not saying
105?
is 103.
103.
Oh.
103.
And 93. You can do 93 as well. 103, 93.
I'm still. That's something I'm still like figuring. Like I'm 2 years in and I'm still figuring out like which tempos do what to the beat because like
What a noob.
And then a lot of
I
the
know,
a
I'm,
lot
like,
of the
still
a lot of
figuring
the
out, like,
a lot of
pockets
the
and
Atlanta
stuff.
like Gunna stuff or like Gunna type stuff or like Young Thug will be like 160, 150, but then there'll be ones that are like 118 and 114 where they want to like just fill the hi hat rolls.
Yeah.
Like
It's whatever
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you're feeling
It's-
though. Like
yeah,
there's no
yeah.
rule though. I was just saying
Yeah,
for an
break
example
the
so people
rules.
can like,
Yeah.
learn like a good way to start, but
Mhm.
there is no
definitely.
rules.
But like we're saying for the YouTube stuff, like YouTube is really a university if you want to. Like if you
Yeah.
want to know how to make a Detroit beat, type in how to make a Detroit type beat.
I started
Yeah.
at 140 like
Yeah.
across the board.
Just yeah.
Like 140 was like all the trap because I was
Wait,
going
hold on,
more
hold on.
towards the
We'll
Atlanta
get to
side.
you. Let him finish.
No, we're going.
No, no,
just
because
saying
no, because he's
BPM.
saying
I'm not
no,
going
no, no,
to
no,
my
no.
approach
No, because
or
he's
anything.
saying like, yeah, I used to do that. That's what I'm saying. That's it's
Oh
like,
no,
you know what I'm saying?
140. I think a lot of people will make like sometimes I'll hop on and just not change the BPM and just start making because I think after time and time again of being on FL and sometimes just going in and starting 140 has kind of got ingrained subliminally into us of like that's just a normal tempo to hear.
No, isn't it 130?
No, it's
I have mine at
140.
130 is the
You
default,
can-
but I
that's what I'm
try
saying.
and stay away from that.
No, but some defaults is one.
Yeah,
when I first opened up
mine's
FL,
130.
mine was 140, but now it's 130.
Mine's
That's
130.
weird. I've never had one at 130. Never changed
Mine's always
it.
been at 130.
But mine's at 130 now, and like that's what I like.
Pro Tools is 120.
Yeah.
But
I like using 120. I like 138, 120.
honestly, for
138
me,
is
103.
nah, we'll talk about it. when
148
I
is
get
good
to-
too. 148 you can make cool Cardi beats at.
Yeah, because when you think about it, it's all in like the snares where you want the snares to hit. Like, and then you talk about half
Yep.
timing and all that, but we'll talk about that later.
Well,
on.
even like my friend who just plays guitar, who records in FL, like all his BPMs are only from like 130 to 140. Like usually he's recording like 136, 135, but like
I think it's just kind of like a medium tempo for people to get because it's just like 1, 2.
Because it's
3,
between. You can
4.
half time it, or you can just do
and
it
it's
on
easy
the 2
to
and 4.
and it's easy to go with like keys and stuff. You can play a 4 bar key and like have time to like think about like, you know what I mean? Like it's not just like 160. You got to kind of be on your shit if you're
Yeah,
if you're
that's
MIDI inputting like. Or like what was Tour Life like 178 or
Was
something
it?
like that? Yeah, it was something
didn't
insane.
check.
I know it's
TM88 said it on Deconstructed. Like he spiked the like it went.
Like, what is it? 177, 180?
Yeah,
I don't
some
know.
crazy
That's
like
hella.
that. Some crazy.
That's where all my beats are.
But yeah, you like continue on how do you approach?
Yeah.
That's just kind of how I start with melodies, and then once I get past that, I tend to not build my counter melody until I actually have my beat, because the way I think is I will build the whole thing, and then that will be the drop, and then sometimes I'll go back and like a lot of people will go back and like add a melody or add a counter melody or take one out or whatever it might be. There's always stuff you go back and do, but I tend to make the counter melody or like the bells or like maybe a lead or something last, because what happens is I'll think of what I would want to hear as like the second part of the verse, because like you want that change up, you want that like you want the versatility. So once I hear the whole beat for a little bit, I'll hear it, and then I'll be like, okay, what would go on top of it? Just like when we made that beat, when me and CJ made it, and then we were in the 6K, and you were like, oh, you guys need like something just on top of it.
Yeah.
And you played those bells. That's what happens. You hear something and it's almost full, but for the second half of at least one of the verses, you want something to change.
Yeah, I want my cut for that too. But
No, that's good.
Go ahead.
Let me.
go ahead.
Let me.
It's like 6%.
Go ahead.
So, what about your drums? Do you do your drums after your melody or before?
Recently, I made a couple beats before.
With the
I
drums
made
first?
with drums first, and I usually don't do that. But what I'll do sometimes is I'll try to make like really weird drum patterns and then make a beat on top of that, and that's fun. That's when I'm just feeling like kind of bored and like not trying to make some stock, like whatever, or trying to make something like crazy hard. I'll make my drums first and make it like weird. Like I made like 3 conga lines and then just put a snare, and then I just used that, and it wasn't really that good, but it was like fun to make.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
Perk loops are always fun to make
Yeah,
for
yeah,
me.
yeah. It was like a giant perk loop, like. Yeah.
So
Just
to
make
ma-
your perks.
I
Make your
think
perks.
I think just to keep it simple, with everything you just said, I feel like but from what I heard, you do your BPM first, then you go. So you do BPM, then you do like melody,
yeah,
main
kinda
melody,
just-
then you do like your hi hat and snare maybe, and then
I just
maybe a counter.
I do, well sometimes I will use a snare as like the metronome. So that's pretty much
yeah.
what I do. I just have it like hit as like a 2 or a 3, or I mean a 3 or 4, and just like,
A lot of people need that though, and they need to hear that. Like,
yeah, and that's what I do, because sometimes you want to know like when you should. It's just for melody, it's easier for me to hear hi hat and snare or clap, or even if you want to put a stock kick, you can just like something like not hitting all the time, but
yeah.
and then make
Drum
the
kit.
drums.
FL drum kit. What's the stock? What's the stock pack?
Drums audio.
I don't even know.
Drums
know.
audio has some crazy kicks.
He's lying. Go ahead, Jordan.
Oh wait! I got another question for Eli. When you're going on and making beat, do you go in trying to make something like with a
that's a
specific
good
genre, or do you just go in and whatever
well,
flows?
I think when you make a specific genre is when you're making it with the artist. A lot of the times when I'm like something, like I want the like Cardi, I want like the Atlanta like guitar, or something like if they say like I want this specifically in it, like I want like that West Coast lead, or I want a bunch of like cowbells or something, like you kind of just build around something main. For me, it's always been pads. Like Cardo's one of my favorite producers for beats, I guess that you'd say, with that knock or like that are just hard. Cardo's one of my favorite producers, especially with his new like the Big Boston volumes with Payroll.
Shouts out Cardo.
Hell yeah, Cardo's crazy. Like him and Pierre Bourne and Lord Fubu for me are like really cool to listen to for sounds, because I like those atmospheric sounds on top of like hard beats. But then there's also times when I want to make like some real musical stuff, because again, I think Cardo is my favorite, I guess, if you want to classify like how we're talking about beat maker, because he makes beats and like he still plays piano and all that stuff, and he knows like music, but he makes like real hard beats. But as a producer and like really sitting down and making everything from scratch, like on a piano and like all this stuff, Eric the Architect is like, that's what I wish I could make my stuff sound like, that quality, because that's really producing, and that's like getting down to it.
Why don't you just try to be your own person, Eli?
No, I'm saying inspiration wise, which is what
I know, I'm
we're
just
gonna
kidding.
get
What-
onto.
yeah,
But
what
yeah,
do you go
kidding.
by though, so everyone knows, so they can look you up?
produced by Mystery or Prod, but an E instead of a Y at the end. But it might get changed because I looked it up on Apple Music and there's like a lot of mysteries already. But no one has produced by.
That's how you stand out.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jordan.
All right. So my
Talking
approach,
to the mic, please.
my approach to beats is probably
Now
I just distort that shit.
All right.
But I'm just gonna say like mine overall, because like every time I like start it up, like most of the time I try and like come at it in a different way. Like I'll start drums first, or like I'll do the BPM first. But like mostly it's making a melody. So I make my main melody first, do what I can to it, and then I try to make as many melodies and like layers to it as possible first, because once I start on the drum, it's like I have no other ideas. Like my mind's just focused on
Yep.
drums and I'm just locked in. So
I've noticed that from you too when we work together. I noticed that you literally hate doing the drums first. Like we have to get all the sounds down first, then you start the drums.
I feel
yeah,
like
like
I'm a
it's
bit
just
the
like a
same
thing in my
way,
brain
yeah.
that's
Yeah.
like, okay, like now you have no creative
Yeah, because you feel restricted. Like you're just,
no
yeah.
creative juice left on the melody sounds,
Yeah.
you know. So yeah, I try and do that. Really into bass lines, so like I'll try and add bass lines when I can. Depends on the beat though. So yeah, that drums, and then I've been mixing a lot more too, like as I'm going. So like laying it all down in the what do you call it, the buses or whatnot.
The faders,
I'm so like
the routing.
rudimentary.
Putting
to
it on
those.
the tracks.
Oh,
Tracks.
Yeah,
same,
like route it. Like
yeah,
I
the
route it
channels.
all out,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
like I level it, and then try and EQ a lot. Pretty much every sound except the drums, because like if you're getting like purchased drum kits, because you know I don't have like pre-recorded drums that I did myself or anything, but like if you're using some of these like paid for drum kits, they're probably already EQ'd and
Mhm.
They're for
Okay.
sure.
Yeah.
yeah,
for
like
sure
they're already like
EQ'd.
perfectly for
Yeah.
you not having to do anything with
That's why
them.
people are like really against like people are really against engineers are really against people who like
EQ.
compress and EQ all their stuff.
Mhm.
They're like really against it because
Which we talked about that in the last, like the pet peeves,
Yeah.
like don't master your shit, don't like try and compress everything,
Yeah,
like just
and then,
level it out and let the engineer.
My other
do
pet
the
peeve is
rest.
the fact that you're not talking into your mic
How am I not talking to my mic?
because you're moving around. Like that's not good.
Is it picking it up?
No, it's
Yeah,
gonna
you're
pick it
good,
up,
yeah,
but
you're
it's
good.
like
It's just gonna sound a little phasey.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
But
all right.
it's all good.
But
Sorry, we don't have mic stands.
I know this is like literally supposed
We
to be
don't have
mounted
any mic
in 'em.
stands today because the equipment room's closed, but it's fine.
Yeah,
We try to improvise. We're like, we got to get this out there.
we do
Yeah.
content. But yeah. So that's pretty much my approach.
So you do-
nothing more.
All your melodies, and then you do your drums, and preferably bass line.
Yeah, melodies, drums, and bass line when I can. Like sometimes I'll start, like it literally just depends
Yeah.
on the beat, like
No,
the
that's how it is
sound of
every time, yeah.
everything. But yeah, I mean it's pretty basic.
Mhm.
I only change the tempo later on, like when I feel like the drums aren't going too fast
Same.
or like the melody's not swinging right,
Mm-hmm.
and there's just the pockets aren't there. Then yeah, I'll turn it up or turn it down. But yeah, that's mine. How about yours?
Want me to go? I'll go.
Yeah.
So for me, when I approach beat, I mainly use samples. So I'll just throw on records from my house because I have like a lot of records, and I'll just use my turntable and I'll play just a ton of records. Or I'll go on YouTube and I'll just look up samples and I'll go to the most unviewed samples and I'll just base it on the whatever like it looks like on YouTube, the
Yeah.
picture. And that's how I pick it.
It's like a
And
record
it's
store. Because a
yeah.
record store, you just pick the coolest album cover.
coolest looking. If there's a girl on it and she's, she's
Half
bad,
nude.
instant fire. That's fire instantly.
Sexist.
Anyways, yeah, so that's how I would do it, and I'll play the sample. And then when I'm playing the sample, I just look for parts that stand out or parts that I know would sound good, like as a melody.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll just drag it into my DAW, which is FL, and I record it into Edison, and I'll find my spot. And then I'll play it back. I'll make sure it sounds really good, and I don't like the little popping sounds on my chops. And then I'll either lay that down and just usually I put like a snare on there, depending on the tempo. How I do it, if the tempo is anytime it's over 103, I put the snare on the 3. And anytime the tempo is under 103, I put the snare
No.
on the 2 and the 4.
4, yeah.
And then I'll use that as my metronome. And then I'll just, usually I have like a simple drum pattern just so I can like get my chops going and the loops. And then I'll either throw my sample into Slice X, or I'll just slice it on the DAW myself, but I just throw in a Slice X and then I'll just play it kind of like an MPC. And then I'll go back and fix my drums to make it sound a little better. Then I'll go back to the sample and find some other little things I can add for like
Yeah, the switch
effects
up.
or
Yeah.
like a switch up.
Mm-hmm.
And then if I'm really feeling it and everything, I'll find the key of the song and the tempo, like the key
Yeah.
of the sample, and then I'll
Play like
play a
instrument.
few
Yeah,
little
yeah.
melodies on top. And that's pretty much how
So you don't really feel it every time. So you're not putting your 100% in every song you make, every
you
beat you
feel
make.
it, like you know when something's good, like you know when something's good, but then you know when something's like, oh shit, like, I got something right
No,
here.
yeah. A lot of times though, like we were talking about, like how you're, like, excuse me, like a lot of people think that that is simple and like, well, not the slicing and stuff, but I'm saying like getting a sample and just putting drums, but like that's like how like the biggest hits have been made, like literally just
Every single classic hip hop song, there's a sample in it. Every single classic hip hop song, there's
yeah,
samples.
pretty much.
Until I would say the 2000s is when people started playing
Yeah,
their own instruments, and that's all based on, like, if you go back to like the 80s and stuff. I mean, the reason why people were making beats was because of the riots and stuff like that. And when there was blackouts in New York, people stole the equipment,
mm-hmm.
and that's why people started making beats, because they had the equipment to use to make samples. And yeah, there's a lot of history behind that, but that's the most simplest way I can explain how I approach a beat. We'll put a tutorial though, like for all of like the sampling stuff.
Oh, you're putting the tutorial up.
Well, like yeah, I mean, I'll put one just because it's easier to explain if people can see what I'm actually doing.
Yeah.
Unless you know like what I'm talking about sampling and all that stuff, which everyone here does. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I love how our guests are on their computers.
I'm trying to look up.
Trying to look up what? Jordan? How to hold a mic? That's really pissing me off. Don't do it. Don't do it. You'll literally regret it. Oh no, I'm gonna hear that later. No. Bro, y'all gotta chill with that. I'm not doing that. All right, so to finish up Victor, you're a like sample based producer, basically.
sample. Yeah, I mean, I'll play like my own everything
but
once
heavily
in a while.
heavily
but-
you're
Heavily samples. That's
Yeah.
what I would say.
so you're a sample and then you add drums.
Find my sample, put some drums, go back to the sample, go back to the
To
drums,
switch it up. So make it switch up, yeah.
and then I'll do like some mixing things. And I'll put like a few my little effects and my the secret sauce on the samples and stuff like that. But
Cowbell?
Nah, he just puts one little EQ knob at
That's
2
not
hertz
true.
or
Nope.
something. But all right, mine 2 hertz. You're not gonna hear anything. So my approach to making beats is I actually don't mess with I never go into a song and like, because when I go in there, I'm never like I want to make a G-funk type beat. I want to make a West, like I'm not like I'm gonna make some Bay or a trap or I'm gonna make this and that. It's like I literally just go on like whatever VST I see first in my head. I go like Electra, like, or like whatever. I don't have Omnis here, but Electra or something. Like I'll just go whatever VST I see. I'll just click on it and I'll just go through all the sounds and I'll just literally play something. And if I hear something cool, I'll try to make it. If I can't, I'll just move on to the next thing. I'll just keep going because like, and a lot of people don't like that because they think it's wasting time. But like at the same time, I like it because I don't force myself to make one thing. Because if I'm sitting there, I make a tight beat and it's like,
you're putting a creative barrier
yeah,
on what you're
like
trying to
if I'm
make.
like I'm only making G-funk, I can't use this sound, I can't use that sound. Like I'm only like, so I just go in there and make what I want, and I never put like the BPM. I set it always after my melodies. Like I don't know. That's just the way I did it. Like I never like messed with the BPM when I first got in. I never do it.
Let me go back to when I make the beats. I forgot to say one really important thing is after I find my samples, you gotta find the matching BPM, because that'll throw off for samples, that'll throw off everything. You have to match it to where it's either 2 bars, 1 bar,
Oh yeah,
4 bar. Like it has to.
yeah,
But that's just because of the sample. It'll throw everything off.
yeah. I'm pretty sure that was pretty self-explanatory. That's good. Nah, it's,
No, not for everybody.
Yeah, no,
not everybody.
Nah, Jordan probably wouldn't have done that. That's fine. Let's see. I throw a lot of shade at Jordan because he talks a lot of trash. So
Yeah, there's like
Like
a
what?
feud going
there's
on.
a feud. Yeah. So yeah, but I literally go in there. I start messing with VSTs and I just do like whatever sounds good to me. And then now I'm trying to be like Jordan. How like cause like kind of being working with Jordan. We've worked like a lot of like. Not
Been
a lot.
in
but we've
the
done
studio once or twice.
Yeah, we've made a few beats together. But the way he like does all his melodies and counter melodies and like intro outro or something to something, like I do all my melodies first now. Like I'm trying to do that because he's right. Like when you put one melody and you start doing all the drums, you kind of feel stuck.
Like even if I just like do a melody and then add like snares or hi-hats like as a point of reference,
Yeah.
I'll like start getting the groove in my head and then
Yeah.
I'll totally switch off a
Yeah.
melody and just like play on
Because
the
when
melody.
you just have one melody, you're gonna fill in that empty space of the melody with like a kick or a snare or a perk or something. That's why it's really that's really smart to me. For me at least, it makes sense. So that way you're filling up all your sounds, you're filling up your whole melody is gonna be filled up with melody, counter melody, plucks, bells, whatever. Like it's all filled up, and then you start adding in everything. So it makes it fills up the beat better like that to me. And then I start messing with the BPM if I want to be fast, if I want to be slow, whatever the instrument is. Like I'll literally just change it by what I feel like. A lot of the times I do a lot of fast stuff because I think because I'm like a very jittery person. I have to be like fast. I don't know why.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
And so I always make my beats fast. Except like, but it's weird though because what I like the best is like G-Funk. So it's like 93, 95 BPM. You're kind of just chilling, like like it's whatever I'm feeling. Like I don't know, G-Funk makes me happy, so that's why I like making it. Cause I like groovy like G-Funk beats, but I like moving that. I like that fast stuff because I just love hearing it knock like every second. Like if you hear my beats, I have a lot of kicks because I don't know. I have to have a lot of kicks for some reason. I just want to hear it like constantly hit. Like I want it to be aggressive a lot of times. I think because I grew up, or not grew up, but I used to like listen. When I started making beats, my like people that I used to listen to was like Xavier Wolf, Chris Travis, Ramirez,
all them
Suicide
SoundCloud
Boys,
days.
all the SoundCloud days. Yeah, that
Shouts
was,
out
like,
2013
that's
to
literally all I
2016
listened
maybe.
to. So like and it was like heavy like 808 kicks and stuff like and like hi hats. So like I learned a lot from like just listening, but that's why I'm just so focused on that. That's why maybe that's kind of a curse too. Like what did you say earlier?
What a gift and
A gift and a curse. I couldn't think of the same, but yeah, it's like a gift and a curse sort of because like now I only want to make hard stomping beats or like something like even in my G-Funk beats I'll make a kick, but it's like too hard for a G-Funk isn't like knocking. It's like kind of like just you kind of ride it like like kind of like every time I think of a G-Funk I always like think about like you're cruising on a 6.4, you know.
And
What I'm
like
saying?
not like
Oh,
especially
let me
those
say it
songs.
again. It's cruising on a 6.4 because no one says 4.
Yeah.
Who does that? And that's,
That was
it's not-
pretty white of you.
Yeah, that's pretty white of me. But like I don't know. I just every time I think of making a G-Funk beat, I want it to be like something I cruise to, that I always want to listen to all the time.
What genre like really made the hard knocking kicks? Because you don't see a lot of that in G-Funk. You don't see that in rock.
Oh, that's
You
new. That's the new school.
That's
You
just,
think?
That's
yeah.
for sure.
Where like
the new school.
everyone wants that. Because like
That's like the past 4 years probably.
No, that's definitely the new school when
nah, older
when the
than that.
SoundCloud rappers
Yeah.
became big.
Because
Like
no
Chief
one knew
Keef.
how to limit anything. Everyone's just
2016.
making shit on FL and just like
Yeah.
maxing their kicks out.
Mhm.
Literally like 2016 double XL freshman.
I think
That's when it's.
You
I
can't forget
think-
about Love Sosa. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
shit.
think
that was
I was gonna
in
say
high-
I
I
was
was in
gonna
high
say
school when
no.
that
I was
dropped.
gonna say I think drill music was the first. Chicago drill, which is the original drill. Drill is not from anywhere but Chicago. Drill music started hard kicks and crazy hi hats.
That's true. But
Like-
that's true.
Like it was happening in the South a bit, and it was like coming up in both areas. But wow,
Like,
I can't think of
I
his
feel
name.
like a
It's
lot of
so
people
bad.
listening
What's
are
his
gonna be
name?
furious.
Drill, Chief
who
Keef,
produced
Young Chop.
Young Chop made hard kicks.
Yeah.
Young Chop is an innovator, just like Keyboard Kid with Bass World. All this like that's innovators. Like
Well, they say like 2012 is when like the most like new school music like approach, because you're getting all these new sounds and styles like out of nowhere, but coming from these like regions, and it was just like a whole new wave that like still affects
Yeah.
us today.
And I think the reason because that is because like people, that's when it was easier to have access to a computer, and then people were downloading FL8 on their PCs because
Yeah.
that's the free version that everyone can get online, cracked, and like that's what a lot of people have. That's why some producers will still be like, "Oh, FL8 is the best," blah blah blah. But you know, it's
Because you
all
can get it for free.
yeah, but it's all the same, honestly.
Yeah. But I think to finish off my way of approaching beats and all that is what I do is well, now it's changed. Well, I have two methods also because I do my own melodies and stuff, like all my own melodies, but then I also sample a lot of stuff. So I have two ways of making stuff. Like honestly, the only way I'll like consider making a type beat or something is like if I'm going to use it. A lot of times I only make G-Funk beats for myself. Like I have maybe like a few that I've made for like to put up or something, but I don't really make type beats. Like I wouldn't go and like, okay, I'll label it type beat, but everybody does like a label.
It's just
type
a
beat.
marketing
It's just a
tactic.
Yeah, it's literally just to get views or something to click on. Like, so I never go in there and be like, this is a so and so type beat. I just go in there and make it, and then I'm like, whatever. After it's done, I'm like, all right, who do I hear on it?
But sometimes when you're making the beat, before you know what you're gonna make, it just like hits you like, damn, this is like a blah 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 type
Some
beat.
real Playboy
And
Cardi,
then-
all right.
And
let's
then
get
I
the
feel like
mouse
that
on.
also can help you. That helps people build off it because like, oh shit, this is like some Playboy Cardi type beat. And then once you have that in your head when you're making the beat, like I think you start thinking like how Playboy Cardi would sound on it, or
Yeah.
like how their beats sound. I feel like that happens to me sometimes without even me trying to do that. It's just like, oh shit, this kind of sounds like a blah 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 type beat, and then
Yeah.
I'll just like keep on adding to that
Mhm.
kind of without doing it intentionally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess just to finish me and then finish off with the last topic because I keep getting cut off. So like literally all I do, go in there, I start messing with all the VSTs, find cool like a melody, or I literally only have like max I've ever made is like probably 4 melodies max I've ever done. I've like never do too much because I've that's maybe one of my instruments. I rarely kind of use pads. I do it sometimes only if like the pad has a fast attack because I don't like those risers. I don't know, it's not really me, but a lot of people like it. But to me, it's not really. I don't really use like the rising pads. I use kind of fast attacking pads. That's what I like because I like more of that aggressive stuff. Maybe that's why. I don't know. But so what I do is just go through and mess with all the VSTs, get a simple little melody, make a counter melody or two, and then maybe like a switch for the bridge or like the chorus or something, like the hook. And then I just start making the beats. The drums to finish off the beat. And it's literally all I do. That's it. And like level it at the end. I like hardly, because like Jordan was saying, all the stuff in the drum packs are pretty much already EQ'd and you don't really have to tweak them that much. If I do, it's very minuscule stuff. It's like nothing big at all.
It's stuff that actually creates a sound for what you're trying to make, right? It's not like any correction.
Yeah, no, it's never like correcting because
It's-
usually,
That
Yeah.
or when you're like layering these sounds together.
yeah.
It's like that's when you sort of sometimes EQ.
Yeah.
But I feel like my process is simple. I'm not like one of those like hardcore. I'm not one of those hardcore people that's like this is what I do to get that specific sound. I'm just throwing it on there. I like I know a lot of people they might hate me for saying this right now, but I don't tune my 808.
Oh,
And I
shit.
know
I hate you.
Jordan's so mad right now in his head because he's like every time we make a beat, he's like, bro, why don't you go to New Tone and tune your 808 and fix it? But I'm just like. I've never done that, and like all
I've
my
never-
stuff, I like the way it sounds, and it's a personal thing. It's like I like the way it sounds, so why am I going to change it? I like the way it sounds.
Well, it's a matter of like being in tune or not.
Yeah.
Like, it's all by ear, so it's like if it sounds in tune, then it probably.
And I feel like
is,
mine's
and
pretty
You don't have
good.
to go through a whole process.
Your ear's pretty good.
I feel like because remember one time we were literally making the 808 pattern, and I played it the exact same key you changed it to
Mm-hmm.
because I already knew like that's what sounded good to me. So I was like, I'm gonna use that. So it's like that's how it happens to me. Like I kind of know. Like I don't want to say I know everything, but I'm saying like to me, I kind of know the sound I'm going for when I make it. So that's why. But that's it for that. And now for our last topic, we're gonna go around and talk about. We're not even talking about it. Just maybe bring it up.
Our biggest,
like producer inspiration. For me,
at least say like 3. Just so
we'll
people
say a
get
few.
a little.
I mean, we don't gotta be like 5. If you say 6, I'm not gonna like kick you off the show. But
Just cut his mic.
yeah, just
We're
cut the
done
mic
here.
off if he says more than 4. So my biggest inspiration I think ever is DJ Quick, like for sure. Like I grew up my whole life listening to him, so DJ Quick's for sure number 1. Number 2 is probably Mikey the Magician. He's like kind of sort of newer. He's been around for a little bit, like a few years.
So hard.
Mike the Magician's the one who like kind of makes all like he helped pretty much Ramirez with his whole like last 2 albums / mixtapes or whatever, and he's like made stuff with like all the like. Okay, if you know Ramirez, Puya, like all the Buffet Boys, and like
Shakewell.
he's helped like Shakewell. He's like literally helped all of them, and like it's so like he like all them I listen to. So that's like my kind of sound or like inspiration, I guess. That's why he has a lot of kicks on his songs. If you ever hear, that's why I'm like into like that roll, that triple kick roll. I do that a lot sometimes too. So
That's like a 3-6 Mafia thing.
Honestly, when we made that beat together, because we've made a few,
yeah,
I had never met anybody in my life who did that 3 kick thing.
and I did it.
And I would have never
your
thought
life.
of that because like when I would do that on accident, like that's trash, like horrible. But that one day with Esteban, and he did it, and I was like, damn, that actually sounds good.
It's because you gotta know placements too.
Yeah, you got to know where to put it. Like it sounds good. Where like I've done it now a few times on my beats because it.
I just want to say, I've improved Vic's production life. I mean, I've given
Yeah, he's got
every
given
time-
some good
look,
tips.
no,
I
look,
can't
It
lie.
always helps to work with
I
other
can't
people.
lie.
That's
This
like,
is funny.
yeah.
This is funny, right? Because look, one day I told Vic, I was making a beat and I put a live hi hat, right? Like a loop of a live hi hat. He's like, "That's trash. Take that off. I'm never using that. You're trash if you use that." The next day, he shows me a beat. He uses the live hi hat. He's like, "Hey, it's actually pretty good." I was like, "That's what I thought." Like, don't even. He's always
No,
trying to
it's-
front like he's hard, like he didn't say that or something. But I know he did.
No, I did say that.
Yeah.
I'll admit to it. And like live hats are, yeah, use them because they.
I use them and then I put like a telephone effect EQ on the.
yeah.
If you want, like, I don't know. That's just a tip. I don't know. Like, I just like that's
Don't
something
give
I
out,
do.
don't give out too much sauce.
I don't know.
man.
I can't give all the sauce.
We'll do
Yeah,
some
you're right.
live cook-ups in the future.
Yeah, you'll see.
Yeah,
But-
you'll see how
Don't
much.
worry,
of a
don't
bitch
worry,
this
it's coming.
But
So my biggest inspiration is DJ Quick for sure, number 1, and then Michael the Magician, and then probably some other guy I don't think anybody knows. I'm gonna not Kendrick, like not Kendrick Lamar. It's like some guy. His name's just Kendrick, but he makes beats for Ramirez, and like that's like kind of one of my bigger like inspirations too. Like because he brings, I don't know, his style is like he samples, but he makes his own stuff too, and it's like kind of both the same. But I don't know. He's like, I don't know. I like his songs. Like I like that heavy, like aggressive, hard kicks and stuff. So I like him. And then probably my other one that I'm gonna say is probably my boy that I said earlier, Sakumo. He's definitely like, I mean, he taught me everything. He put me on everything. Like I think he taught me more than like probably YouTubers. Like, but at the same time, I've used like he taught me for like the first 2 months, and then just to like kind of like know the basics and everything. But also listening to his songs, like I kind of learned a lot. So he's probably up there too. That's my like top 4, I guess.
and would you say that those producers all have influence on what your beats and stuff sound like?
Yeah,
All right,
but I also put my own twist too,
just
like
so
the cowbell.
just so
The sauce.
everyone
Don't give out the sauce.
Yeah, I can't give that out. Never mind.
so everyone listening can like look you up and see what your beats actually sound like based on what you said. Just say what your producer name is so people can find you.
My name's Trunks. The reason why they call me Trunks is because my hair split down the middle like Trunks, like from Dragon Ball Z. That's what they used to call me in high school, and I just said I'll just use that as my name. And then I put an X instead of a K because I don't know, I'm weird.
So it's Prod by Trunks
No, just Prod Trunks.
on
Spell it
YouTube.
out.
On
Handle.
YouTube, right?
Yep, on YouTube, SoundCloud, BeatStars.
All platforms.
No, not all platforms. I don't have iTunes or Spotify yet, but it's Prod Trunks, PRODTRUNX.
We'll put it in
Yeah,
the
everything will be in the
description.
description.
But
Everything
just so
will
you
be-
guys know, like based off what his influences are, and then
Yeah.
you guys can hear his beats to kind of get a feel
Mhm.
of how Esteban.
I put free beats too on my
Like
YouTube
if you're on
channel.
Spotify right now, you won't be able to see all this, so it's good to spell it out.
Yeah, that's true.
All right,
Go ahead, Vic.
I'll go. Okay, so my biggest producer inspirations, the Alchemist is probably one of my top ones. DJ Premier,
Yep. Oh, shout out Preem. Yeah.
yeah, DJ Premier, and like Dr. Dre, of course. But I'm gonna say another one.
Cut his mic.
Man, this.
I said 4. I'll let him get 4.
There's a lot, but yeah, The Alchemist, Dr. Dre, DJ Premier, and I want to say Ninth Wonder.
Ooh.
Yeah, he makes fire ass beats.
Ninth Wonder.
Ninth
Yeah.
Wonder, yeah. Yeah, and they're my style because like the way they sample and the way they like flip samples is it's sick, especially if like because I work at Whole Foods, and like I'll be at work sometimes they'll be playing like the music and shit, and like I'll hear it and I'll be like, oh my god, like that's a sample, and like
Aggressive.
that's a sick feeling though. Like
Yeah.
when you hear the sample without you having to learn what it is, and like you actually look it up, and it's like damn, like that.
Yep.
That's what made me kind of want to do it. And then like being able to put a sample where people can't even distinguish what it is, and you're like, oh, this is this, and it's like damn, like what? And like that's cool right there. And then if you guys want to look at my beats or something like that, mine's Izzy V, IZZYV. And yeah, I'm
On all
on
platforms?
I'm on all platforms.
You're on all platforms?
I'm on all
You're on
platforms.
Spotify and iTunes?
I am on Spotify and iTunes.
Wow. He's the only one that made it. All right. Go ahead, coach.
Damn. So I'd say mine top one that like got me into producing. The reason I made beats is
Smoke
Smoke
Sack.
Sack. Yeah, Smoke
I already knew
Sack.
it. Just
But
by
that's
looking at
like
you.
that's like more the emo stuff. So he
Wait,
made,
what's
like,
his name?
Smoke
Smoke a
a
Sack.
Sack.
Smoke a Sack?
Yeah.
Yeah, SMOKEASAC. Yeah, I think that's
What's
it.
a
it's
like
like
what's
two
a
C's
popular
or two
beat that
A's.
he's
I think it's
I've
two A's.
never heard of?
Oh,
Lil
that's
Peep.
just his Twitter. Maybe that's just his Twitter.
All
Yeah,
Lil
I
Peep
think-
songs.
Oh, Lil Peep?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has
Oh,
like a-
he kind
he
of looks like
makes,
a
like-
hedgehog, right?
oh my God.
Did I not? So, right?
So yeah, Smoke a Sack.
All right, there goes your little friendship.
SMOKE.
I love you, Smoke a Sack, by the way.
Yeah,
I
we all
love you.
love you.
hate. I mean, I don't
No,
even
I mean, Vic's done. Vic's done.
We cut your mic like
Yeah,
30 minutes ago.
You're done. You're not talking to him ever again. Smoke a Sack, I love you.
But yeah, Smoke a Sack, because he made like the guitar trap beats, which was like led me to a lot of other producers like Big Head. Big Head was super
Big Head
sick
fire.
because he makes like actual trap, but just tries to throw like the dark
Yeah,
side
that's
of things
fire.
on it. I'd have to say Metro Boomin coming from the South, and his come up was insane.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, to help producers out there, like, because we haven't talked a lot about like arranging beats, something that like really, really helped me like get me to like sort of like the confidence of like sending my beats out for placements and whatnot was just listening to his all heroes wear capes or something, or no, something like that. One of his instrumental albums that he later got people to jump onto the beats from. But just listening to that like helped me with arrangement, like to where like drums come in and then come out, or like when melodies come in or come out, like that helped me really like sort of like assemble things in my head and be able to apply that to when I make beats. So definitely check that out.
Are you putting a tutorial to how to arrange beats? Is that what you're saying? Are you signing
I
yourself
don't
up
think
for
I'm
another
that good
video?
yet. I don't think I'm that good. I haven't like figured out a secret sauce, but just play it by ear.
Yeah.
Just play it by ear. Definitely check out that album. It helped. And then Sunny Digital for sure, because he was like, yeah, he was with all the like he like sort of kind of like started the psychedelic wave with McConan, and like just started doing like these crazy ass melodies and drums and whatnot. So that's probably, how many was that? Like 4?
Say, rename them.
So Smoke a Sack,
Smoke a Sack.
Big Head, Metro Boomin, and Sunny Digital.
4.
So for sure,
You good?
all
Eli,
East Coast.
you've been on the computer. You better name like the best producers I've ever seen in my life. Like people I've never heard
Oh
of.
yeah,
that
let me
produce
cut
the
in because that's what I was like on the
Ooh.
computer for.
best. Oh my bad.
ASAP Ty, I'm
Ooh.
pretty sure, which was like ASAP Rocky's like Long Live ASAP, like all those old amazing psychedelic albums is like what really got me interested in
ASAP
sounds.
Ty?
I think that's what his name is.
Because
Yeah.
I know they also have a producer called ASAP P. But I don't know.
P on the boards.
Whoever made
P on the boards is bro.
yeah, whoever made
Is he the engineer? He's
Nah,
an
he-
engineer too?
I think I'm not sure. I know.
Or is he just- that's
I
what
know
he goes
makes
by?
beats, Yeah.
I seen him on Rhythm Roulette. Oh yeah, for everyone out there, if you need like something to watch, like this is what I watched. Like Rhythm Roulette,
Deconstructed,
Deconstructed,
Rhythm roulette.
but like yeah,
on the clock.
On the clock, yeah. The Kenny one,
The cave. Yeah.
Shout out Kenny Beats.
Fuck, what's his name? Busy Work Beats.
Yeah, Busy Work Beats.
Nah, he's sick though. Yeah, and he made it now.
Why
he's,
is he a meme?
Yo,
I don't get it.
hella
Like, he
famous
literally
now.
Because of Bass Gutter. Because of Bass
Oh
Gutter.
yeah, yeah.
He's so
Shout out
famous.
Bass Gutter too, though.
all
Bass
those
Gutter-
tutorial
We said this
channels.
last time, but come back, man. Come on.
All those tutorial channels on YouTube, check them out. They probably
literally
got
all
something
help.
good.
Bass
They all
Gutter.
have-
Bass Gutter, I feel like is
Justin
really helpful.
Omoy. He's an Indian guy, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I've
Yeah.
seen
You guys
him.
ever watch him?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because he knows his
he
knows
wears
his
like
shit.
wigs and shit,
Yeah,
right?
he knows.
Oh, yeah.
What's his name? Kyle Beats or
Kyle Beats.
Kyle
Beats?
Garvin Beats, yeah.
I never seen him, but I seen his recommendations.
Kyle
His
Beats.
podcast is pretty lit too. I'm gonna shout
Yeah,
out
yeah.
another podcast, but
It's Kyle Beats, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He really breaks down how he makes everything too, like from hi-hats, kicks, all the like patterns. Like if you really need help with patterns, because for a while that was hard for me, like getting hi-hat patterns and kick patterns down. Well, for one, this is just a quick little tip to throw in there. I know this isn't the topic, but don't overcrowd your kicks. And I don't mean that in the sense of like triple kicks or like anything like that, because we all know like it's all about where you put them. But I always had a problem with overcrowding my kicks, because the kicks are like a very present thing in hip hop and something that kind of gives the artist or the rapper like almost like markers or places to start and finish on. And if you overcrowd it, a lot of the time you lose the bounce and the actual emphasis of the snare, the clap, which is supposed to be part of the beat as well. So don't overcrowd your kicks. It's very easy. It's very easy to overdo anything.
think about the groove.
Yeah,
always.
Like keep the
Always.
bounce. Keep the bounce.
Well, I just want to throw a question in for everybody. What do you think is your favorite part of the beat? Like what sound?
Kick.
The kick? Really? What about you, Eli?
Oh, we're talking about drum or like
Just in general, like
Everything?
the
Oh.
Everything.
no, that's too
Drums or
hard.
melody? Because like if you're-
Drum and then melody.
drums,
okay for the drums. Like, what is
perks.
yours?
Mine's kick.
Perks?
Perks are my favorite things. Yeah.
Mine's kick.
It's got to be 808.
Really?
808.
Wow.
Yeah.
Perks
Wow,
of the
wasn't it-
snare. I
was
really
good.
like
I
finding
don't know.
interesting snares. Like when I pick my snare, I will. That's the longest thing I spit. Like my kick, I have go-to kicks because I have certain presets I do for certain kicks. If I want really a hard kick, I already have presets and the kick picked. Old school kicks, I know what I want, and there's packs that I have dedicated to that stuff, and like my own packs. Like, oh, that's a good thing to do for organization, because that's like a thing that a lot of beginning producers and engineers or anybody in music doesn't do, is organize their stuff. If you find stuff you really like, make aliases for your packs just to begin with on your desktop, and then go into your desktop, copy your MP3 or WAV file, and put it into your what?
Yeah, you
Are
should
you-
make a
Are
tutorial.
you signing
for it.
yourself up for a
No,
tutorial?
he definitely should. Cause
Tutorial Tuesday. He's signing himself
He did
up.
that
He just
for,
signed
I'm
himself
just
up.
saying,
No,
when
you're
you
doing it.
make your own pack and call it something, my pack, my sounds, whatever you want, and make packs within that folders of samples, perks, whatever you have. But once you do that, once you find sounds you like or sounds that are go-to, maybe like your favorite, because everyone will throw cowbells and like the perks that are kind of stock. Once you find the ones that are high quality or the ones you like, put those into your packs so you have go-to stuff, so you're not always searching and wasting
Are you
time.
calling
It's
my signature sound stock?
what?
You're calling my signature sound
No,
stock.
so you have stock sounds.
No, you said
You just called the
cowbell's a
saw
stock
stock.
sound.
What do you mean?
You said the cowbell falls under a stock sound.
It is. It's a stock perk. A cowbell,
I'd
the
say
rim
timeless,
shot, the ca-
timeless sounds.
the clave, the rim shot. Yeah, it's like stock. Like it's in every perk pack though.
The cowbell?
Yo, that
Almost.
I don't
sounds
think so.
pissed right now. It looks.
I don't think so.
He's about to fight.
Because you
It
know how
sounds
hard it is. You know how many drum packs I have, and I don't see
I'm saying
cowbell in there that
I'm
has to
saying
search
there's
through.
bad cowbells. Well, I'm saying high quality. Like when
Oh,
you
yeah.
find your stock sounds that you like and that you'll have,
And then
as a
organize them
base,
to make your own
you'll
little drum
organize
kit.
Your
them. Yeah.
default
Yeah.
go-tos.
Yeah, your default goes to. But as I was saying, like
Hey,
I
I'll do
don't
that.
have-
I'll do that.
I don't
and
have almost
Free
any
link download.
snares in my pack because I think claps and snares can get very repetitive and easy to just like go. Like I do sometimes if I'm just like making them like, oh, I know this clap is good, I know I'm gonna use it. But if I want to find something interesting, especially for like your double snare, like where you fill in between the claps, like
Yeah.
on the 5 and the 4 and the 1, or what would it be even? Like you know what I'm saying?
If you're half timing it, it'd be like on the 2 and the 4 probably.
Yeah,
or, like, or a little later. It all
depends. It
Yeah,
depends.
it
What-
depends.
if
though.
you're doing your snare fills in between your claps, I like to find really interesting ones. So it's like something that kind of throws off.
and it's all about
the bounce.
The bounce,
Yeah.
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 But and so you're saying the kicks, Esteban?
Mine's probably kicker 808. Yeah.
Mine's just interesting.
I'd just say
perks.
bass line or like bass.
Yeah, I really like
Just
bass
in
too.
general.
Yeah.
That's
That's
generous.
Because
crazy.
the
Everyone-
808s or the bass, like it depends on the beat, but like I don't know. I love bass lines. Like
Wow, that's
top one.
What does it do?
hi hats.
I was gonna say
Hi-hats
that's like third.
Hi hats, I think, are what makes the bounce of a song. In my opinion, I mean, you can have if you have the same drum pattern, then you have the hi hats off,
Hi hats are the bounce.
and then when you
for
bring
sure.
the hi hats on, it'll just bring.
Oh
a
yeah, it
completely
livens it
different
up.
vibe.
Yeah.
But
That's still not my favorite sound though. I don't know.
it's not my
It's
favorite
definitely
sound,
up
but I
there.
think it's
So
a
yours is
very
kick?
essential.
Mine's kick 808 and then hi hat probably.
It's the
Okay.
most essential, I think, in my opinion.
To me,
part.
snares at the bottom. It's like it's a snare. It's always
No.
going in the same spot. It's,
But
it's just
but-
the sound
but-
is different, but
But then again, every single sound put together is what makes it
yeah.
the
Yeah,
vibe.
yeah.
I mean, it's all one sound can change the whole sound, if that makes sense.
What were
Getting
your inspirations?
getting back onto the
Yeah,
topic.
yeah, yeah.
Getting back onto the topic.
It's like a 12 minutes.
This is in no particular order. I'm just gonna throw these out there. K Fisher, who makes a lot of beats for Larry June, and I'm trying to think. I think he made some stuff for a few more artists in the Bay. I think the arpeggiators or maybe synths that he's doing something to are really interesting, like on 24K Organic and 30-day, or what is it, 30-day run, I think.
Yeah. You had to look these up. You couldn't realize them?
The songs? No,
They're really your biggest inspirations. You can't think of this.
Well, it's by Larry June. It's not by...
Yo, that's the one that's throwing shade.
I'm just
anyways, this guy's trying to fight.
Anyway, I'm just
right
mad
now.
that y'all were on the computer while we're doing this.
What do you mean this is what's... Well, anyways.
Anyways.
He's mad.
K Fisher is one of them. Going back to what I said before, Eric the Architect, I think for inspiration-wise and getting into music, it is definitely my biggest... He is definitely my biggest inspiration. Like Vic said, I really like The Alchemist. That's like another like producer that's kind of in that kind of same genre, like almost like boom bap style. Mac Miller or Larry Fisherman, if you want to say that, but a lot of his stuff was self-produced, like his tape or his albums. For the stuff that I go for, like weird kind of atmospheric and just like different sounds, he's one of the people where I would study his beat breakdowns and like what sounds he was really using. And it's where I found like what to look for in VSTs and stuff.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that he's a producer and
crazy producer. Crazy.
And his producer name is not Mac Miller; it's Larry Fisherman. Watch his Rhythm Roulette. His Rhythm Roulette. It's sick.
Man, I'm trying to think of somebody really.
That's 4. Was that 4 or 3?
Yeah, I threw The Alchemist out there just to say kind of like with Eric the Architect, he's just like in the same kind of category. Man,
who's your first inspiration?
Eric, definitely, because
that's your number one.
Eric is number one because when I was getting into hip hop, like deeper into it, the Zombies were popping off, and then I realized that he had tapes before that, and I went back and listened to like Almost Remembered and Noir or whatever it's called, like that, and those were like huge inspirations. But recently, I'm gonna just throw the last one out there, DTB, who essentially blew up All Black. He didn't blow up All Black, but he put a pretty big sound into it. And he got people like the YNAF with Rex Life Raj and Cash Kid, stuff like that. His sound is insane. That's a new wave in the Bay that's happening, and they're changing up from the hyphy and the mob sound. So shout out to DTB, Joe Wax. Man, I'm trying to think of other crazy producers in the Bay right now.
I'm about to cut you off. Name out like 8 producers.
Man, it's bad. Why can't I think of his name? Lil Reese just made a song. Go download BGS 223 with Corn Streets. Corn Streets?
No, Lil Reese.
Lil Reese, yeah. Lil Reese is tight.
I didn't even know.
KD Slaps. Everybody go follow KD Slaps on Instagram. He's coming up. Not big enough yet to what he should be, but he's going to get there. Shout out to him. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff happening in the Bay right now. A lot of changes. I like it. We needed to get some new sounds out here for a while. It was getting kind of dry. Yeah, it was getting a bit recycled. People knew what they needed to be changed. They just didn't know where to find it, and it's coming now.
That's why we're here. That's why we're here.
The new wave.
I don't know about you guys.
Well, yeah, this guy's from fucking...
He's from LA. He's from the 909.
All right. I mean, Eli just named off like 20 producers. I don't know. I feel like I have to say the next 16. Let's go.
What about... Wait, did you do yours already?
Yeah, I did, man.
Yeah,
What
I think
about,
we're all good.
Should we name some rappers that we like, or...
DJ Quick. He's like a producer and a rapper. That's why he's my favorite. Because he's both. So it's like, I don't know. Because like that sound literally, like if you listen to like his songs, they're just like G-Funk. Like, I don't know. It's just that era was like my favorite. That's why like it's always stuck to me to make. So that's why.
One of my favorite rappers right now to listen to on some different stuff is Maxo. Like
Maxo Cream?
Yeah.
Pumpkin
was crazy. It like had like super new wave like sounds like on Grannies and like 5200, but
he actually
real
rap,
but with
like newer
yeah.
style of beats.
Yeah,
It's fire.
It's
sick.
dope.
I would say
Boy, I know you didn't just have that phone on the table when I told you not to have it on the table. Just wait till this one's over. I'm literally waiting.
This is all cut right here.
Yeah.
I would say my favorite rappers right now. I listen to a lot of Freddie Gibbs.
Yeah.
Currency.
Currency's nice. Yeah.
Yeah, that's always some. I
Uh,
won't say what music, but that's some chill music to listen to.
yeah. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. Nas. I'd say Nas is my
Nas
favorite.
fire,
This is
yeah.
my favorite rapper though. Nas. And then. Yeah, a lot of stuff, but those is my
Vanessa
and then,
Hudgens. She goes hard.
A lot of Detroit stuff I've been playing. A lot of FMB, Sada Baby, PZ. I've actually had No Hooks 2 on repeat for like a month now.
honestly, you know what I've been listening to is Aaron's song.
Yep, Aaron.
I can't lie,
Oh,
I've been
man.
listening to that
Yo,
hella.
Just get ready. It's
Yeah,
gonna
like,
be some
that's
different sounds
crazy.
coming out the Bay in a while.
Yeah. And then like the mainstream people, like I do listen to like Lil Baby, Gunna,
Drake.
Drake. When Drake raps, it's sick. Draft Day, all his mixtape stuff, fire. When he sings though,
You're not the biggest
you know,
fan?
no, I mean it's cool.
Yeah, yeah,
I know
yeah,
people
yeah.
love it, but like to me, it's
God's
not cool
plan.
because I'd rather listen to someone else sing than Drake. I don't know. It's just,
Mhm.
That's just me though.
Yeah,
But,
you
I
can
mean,
spit.
He's doing something right. I mean, look
Yeah,
at him.
no, for
He's-
Yeah.
sure, for sure.
Definitely doing something right.
People just hate on them because they're not him.
Yeah,
That's
that's how.
how-
I mean,
that's
that's how it
how it
always
is,
goes.
guys.
Hate us because they ain't us.
Yeah, exactly.
True.
Step Brothers. What's up?
They
Favorite,
hate
that's my
us.
favorite movie.
Cause they
Anyways.
ain't us.
Wow.
We're not gonna talk about movies. That'll be a
What's your
different-
favorite
something different. Nah.
No, I mean we're getting over like what, an hour now? Hour
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
we probably
probably
cut
should
this
just
one.
start rapping because I
66.
don't know how long that's at. I was at like 34%, so we might want to.
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
All right,
yeah.
so let's
This-
wrap up the first one.
Yeah, this is good
How
for the
about
first
we
one.
say our names and then your producer name again, just so if someone wants to look us up.
All right, yeah. All right, so cool. My name's Estevan, signing out. Estevan / Prod Trunks or Trunks, whatever you want to call me. I go by a lot of names. No, just kidding. I literally just go by Estevan or Trunks. That's it. I just thought it'd be sound cool if I was like, I go by many names. Yeah, I go by many names. Call me whatever you want. You know what I'm saying? No, but I go by Estevan. That's my real name, government name. You know. Shout out my mom and dad. Did I see my dad naming it? I don't know what I'm talking about that.
Yeah.
Getting hella personal.
No, my name's Estevan, producer / mix engineer. I'm actually producer. I call myself producer, not a beat maker. All right. I make beats, but I produce. But so I'm gonna call if I have the name to call myself.
Damn. This is like
How long
We're
is the
signing off.
outro?
You're right. You're right.
Sign
You're
off.
right. You're right. I'll explain
Signing
myself
off.
later.
Sign off.
Look. All right. My name's Estevan. I'm / Prod Trunks.
All right, I'm Victor, and then my artist name is Izzy V, IZZYV, no space.
Jordan, Coach Koopa, COACH.
Let the people look at you.
COUPA, Coach Koopa. Pretty much all platforms you'll find me.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm Eli, Prod by Mystery. You can find me on SoundCloud, and I think that's it right now. But yeah.
No,
producer.
YouTube. I thought you were on YouTube.
No,
Oh.
I haven't. But I need to do that. But follow all of us on the Rough Mix podcast
Yep.
on Instagram,
Instagram,
and
Twitter, IG,
Yep.
and soon to be Spotify and iTunes.
Yep.
It'll be
All platforms.
By the time this drops, we'll be on every platform.
Every
Yeah,
platform.
and it will have the in front of it at the Rough Mix podcast, right? On Twitter, not
Well-
anymore.
Well, everything's literally just Rough Mix Podcast.
I thought Twitter had
Yeah.
the.
We took it out.
Oh, okay. Rough Mix podcast.
Yeah,
there you
because we
go.
wanted all to. We literally want to make it easy
Cool.
as
Yep, there you
possible for
go.
people to
Straight
see.
up.
Rough Mix podcast all together.
Boom.
Rough, the same way you spell rough. ROUGH, not ROUFF. I don't want none of that.
It's right there on the board.
Right on the board. Right on the board. The Rough Mix.
We should just put the at.
Yeah, at the Rough Mix everywhere. At the Rough Mix everywhere. But this has been the Rough Mix podcast,
Yeah.
episode 2, producer edition, I guess you call it, because we're all the producers.
Hopefully you guys had some laughs, got some good tips out of it.
Yeah. But we're going to make another episode right now. Sit down and make another one. Eli?
Yeah, we're gonna make another one. All right, guys, we're gonna see you later. Signing out.
All right. It looks like he's no longer in the Rough Mix podcast. We are now open to another spot in the Rough Mix podcast. But no, just kidding. No. This has been the Rough Mix podcast, and peace.
Bye.